KFSR and CMAC present the Central Valley Ledger, a public affairs program featuring stories from all over the Central Valley with Sevag Tateosian, 90.7 KFSR.
Welcome to another edition of the Central Valley Ledger. We're recording out of the beautiful downtown Fresno studios of the Community Media Access Collaborative, Fresno and Clovis, not too far from where our guest's location is and not too far from the newly opened Fulton Street. If you haven't been to downtown lately, come on out. There's been a lot of interesting new things happening in the downtown world. But today, we're going to be talking about beer, a topic that a lot of people like, with Ernie. He's Ernie Rodriguez. You're with Full Circle Brewery. Did I get that right?
Yep, Full Circle Brewing.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you. I'm very glad to be here.
So let's talk a little bit about you before we talk about the brewery and, you know, the latest thing about breweries happening. You know, it's kind of the cool thing these days. Tell us about yourself.
Name's Ernie Rodriguez. I've kind of been around the Fresno scene for about 12 years, give or take. I fell in love with the music scene, kind of never left it. Always, you know, had different jobs going on and try to focus heavily on the music side still. About 3 years ago, I kind of just stumbled onto Full Circle over in the location, and our CEO, Arthur Moye, was behind the bar, and I kind of just grabbed a pint of beer. I had a couple of friends that worked there, started talking to him, and it feels like I never left from that day. I came in like you know, I had an insurance job going on downtown, and I went in there. I kind of got sucked in, and today I'm I guess you would say, bar manager at both locations of our Tower and our downtown location.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about some cool things happening because you've got another location in Tower that's open. You know, you've been in downtown for a long time. A lot of good changes, right? I mean, it's starting to bring people here.
And it's going to sound cliche because I'm going to say it how I'm going to say it, but it's going full circle now. Like we started, you know, with all the construction and everybody upset because it was taking longer than it should have. But I think if we would have rushed it, it wouldn't be at where it is today. Like, you know, we have an awesome presence on Fulton Street. You know, our neighbors to the left, our Tioga, they kind of had that flag going and waved it long and proud. And now you've seen everybody else pop up. Like we said, all the breweries are coming in, and it's just cool to see people actually want to be downtown and wanting to be a part of what's happening in downtown Fresno.
And it seems like the people used to, and there's some people that still say it's not safe, but there are people now that are looking past that, and they're coming here at nights. They're walking on the Fulton Mall. So, you know, your first location, let's talk about your first location, right off of G Street, right? Not too far from Ventura and G?
F and Ventura is our actual location. So it's at 620 F Street. You know, we got a misconception because we have the Pavarello house right across the way from us. And, you know, some people are not too happy with the bums being across the street, but it's like, you know, they're just like people like us. They stay to themselves when we're there. Our lights are on, so they don't really bother us. We've never had any issues. We pride ourselves on being, you know, a family destination. We offer cold beer, live music, and, you know, our third thing that I always tell people is our experience. Like, you go to other breweries, and it's kind of a very stale-like environment, but you come up to one of my bartenders, and I guarantee you that they're going to make sure you have the time of your life while you're in that place.
So let's talk about the misconception about crime a little bit. So I'll tell you, I'm going to be honest. We pass by your brewery in the evenings when our church in downtown has events. We're past there at like 6 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock at night, and then we drive home after the event. There is a lot of cars at Full Circle Brewery. So have you had any issues? I mean, people would, like the first time I saw you there, I'd be like, man, they must have some issues or heavy-duty security.
No, you know, we have a couple security guards that are there. We never had any real problems with anyone. You have your, like, you know, typical people that have a little too much to drink, and, you know, we got to get them an Uber or something like that. But other than that, you know, I've never had a car broken in on my watch or anything like that. I have a pretty good security team, and, you know, we have cameras too that watch over the building and the cars. So
you mentioned something that's very interesting, Uber. So when I go out with friends or when I go to a wedding or something like that, and I'm going to be drinking, Uber or Lyft, to be fair, or a taxi is what I'm looking for. Do you encourage your patrons to use any of those?
Absolutely. You know, I encourage Lyft and Uber just because I know they're safer. It's, you know, Uber's come a long way from when it was just you got the black car and you didn't really know who the driver was to now, you know, you get the profile picture of the driver, you get the license plate, you get the make and color of the car. And then like with Lyft, they have like that I don't know what it's called, but it's like that little banner in the windshield, and it color coordinates to the app on your phone, and it actually says your name. So I feel like it's a safe alternative, and even taxis are insured and bonded.
So let's talk about the brewery scene, because it seems like there's a lot of breweries popping up. Is that a good thing? Like, you're in the brewery business, and overall, generally speaking, is that a good thing?
I say the more the merrier. Everybody has a different palate. Everybody has a different taste. So you're not gonna go everywhere and love every beer you try, and that's okay. But like I go to Tioga. I always my go-tos are the Rush Hour or the Half Dome. I go to our place. It's juicy and cluster. I go to Zach's. It's whatever new Gouda cheese blend he has going on. Like, he makes a really good cheese beer, which I haven't had anywhere else.
One thing I appreciate about you is you're not like people would think, oh, they're just there to promote their own brewery. But look, you've mentioned three or four different breweries.
No, I mean, it's not about that. It's about a community that we have going, and I encourage anyone that can and has the means to pursue their dreams. Our two brewers are freaking amazing, and I know that all the brewers at Tioga, and they're just all chill guys that just, it's a science. It's like they're like cooks and chefs. They take these recipes and mix and master them, and then they put out a final product that we all get to enjoy and love.
Talk about your Full Circle Brewery a little bit. It started out with like several investors, right?
Yes.
And then crowdfunding type of thing. Explain.
So we have original team of investors that started back in 2016. They bought the Full Circle Brewery building and brand, and they were all blood, sweat, and tears in. They redid everything. They remodeled it. They moved the bar over, took down a bunch of walls, and then we got to a point where we introduced ourselves to Fresno. We had beer going, but we couldn't ever keep up with the demand for the beer in house. So this opportunity came up with this crowdsourcing or crowdfunding thing, to where we were able to raise enough capital to buy our new system that's in there now. So I think it's about 7 to 9 30-gallon tanks. Sorry, Brad and Spencer, don't kill me for getting it wrong if I did get it wrong. But and now we're able to have beer there, and also be able to provide enough beer to our tower location, and also all of our accounts around Fresno and the Valley, and I think we're all the way up in Sacramento now too, as far as like kegs and clients go.
So a long time ago, I thought, and pardon me because I'm not the beer expert, I'm gonna be the first to admit that. All beers taste the same. Okay, we're gonna go to the store, we're getting this national brand, and we're done. Talk a little bit about that.
So you can get beers that have like everything. Like, they have sour beers, they have ciders, they have wheat beers, they have IPAs. Even the IPAs have a whole different style too. They have, Northeasterns, they have West Coast. They have IPAs that are brewed with, frozen hops, what they call cryo hops. And it's just like it's a jumping off the diving board, and just going and trying everything you can to figure out what's your palate. Like me, I like a hazy with a citrus flavor, and I also like, I call them dad beers, which is just a typical like light beer.
Explain the experience at a brewery. So if you want to focus on yours, fine, or if you want to talk in general, fine as well. So I've been to a brewery, but pretend I've never been to a brewery. I go there, and do you want me to hang out there? I mean, are you like, get in, get your drink, and if you're not drinking, get out, or what is it like?
So I'll take our brewery, for example. As soon as you walk into our building, I would hope, and I train, that you're greeted. It's a welcome. Hey, how you doing? If you've never experienced our brand, we try to give you a little sample of whatever you think you would like. I have people that usually just drink, Coors Light or Bud Light, but then I have them try like our stout, and they're like, "Whoa, that's a coffee stout? I've never had a coffee stout," and they fall in love with that. And then I have at least 2 people I can say that come in 3 times a week to get that coffee stout, even though that they still at home in their fridge they have Miller High Life or the Coors Lights and the Bud Lights. So
did you say coffee? So you've got beer that comes. Talk about the different flavors at your brewery, and then you mentioned one with cheese earlier.
Yeah, so that's Zach's specialty. He does a lot of cheese infused beers, which is.
How does that taste, by the way? I've never had it.
Delicious. Like, you would think that it's weird, but it's actually very fresh on the palate, I think.
It complements each other.
They complement each other because you have the hops and the wheats in the beer and the spices, and then the cheese kind of just neutralizes that, like a wine would. I don't know. It's hard to explain that stuff because I'm not really a brewer. I just know that I'll drink anything that my friends brew. So and I have, friends in every brewery that work are in Fresno and around the valley.
So people who, if I don't know what I'm going to like
Mhm.
and I go out there for the first time, do I tell you, okay, I like the sweet flavors, and then you
Yeah.
give me a list, or what's that about?
I always just try to ask people, what have you had or what have you tried that you liked as far as like a beer goes. Like, there's the lagers, there's ales, there's IPAs, there's wheats, there's stouts, there's sours. And I just kind of just take it from there, and like I kind of just ask, like what do you like in your drinks that you're drinking? Is it sweet?
Let's talk about budget a little bit. If
Okay.
I'm coming to your place, well, let's backtrack. Let's talk about food, and then we'll talk
Okay.
about budget. So I imagine your place, also the breweries have different kind of foods. Are they like fried foods, or are they, what are we looking at when it comes to food? If I say, hey guys, I just got off work, let's go to the brewery, could I expect like a dinner type meal and a beer, or?
Usually it's food trucks and like catering style outside of the brewery. In our tower location, we're still kind of fine tuning that to see what works best because we also have 2 restaurants around us that we don't want to impede on or take away business from. So I always recommend people use Uber Eats or bring in food. We welcome that.
So you welcome, hold on, I got to stop you there. So say that I want to come to your brewery and have a couple of beers. You allow me to bring food?
Yeah, I mean if you want to go down to Hot PK, House Band Dragon Pita Kebab, or you want to go to Club One and grab something to eat and bring it there, that's fine. We're totally okay with that.
Interesting. Let's talk about budget now. So if, let's say that, I'm going to have a good time.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily, I don't want to get drunk, but
Yeah.
I'm going to a brewery so that, a couple of us want to chat. I give you the Starbucks example.
Okay.
So instead of going to have coffee at Starbucks and chat and, see how things
Yeah.
are going, we go to the brewery. What should I budget? I mean, are these, I know beers have different prices, but, is this something where it's going to break the bank?
Our typical beers probably I would say average around $6 or $7. We have a couple that have been $8, but I would say $20 you could probably get about 3 beers for the night.
And is that pretty standard across the board for what you've experienced?
Yeah, as far as like our downtown area, I feel like that's a normal number for all of them.
What's interesting is the food aspect, going back to the food aspect. Usually when you think of a brewery or a bar, you think of fried,
Yeah.
quickly done fries or chicken wings or
Yeah.
something. But, there are times when you bring caterers or you bring food trucks, right?
Yeah, yeah. So we have a lot of like Fresno's done for the tacos, so we have a lot of taco trucks that come through. We've done some stuff with Casa de Tamale, Dab Tacos. Trying to think. We also have Holy Sheets. Holy Sheets is an amazing Mediterranean food truck that's in town.
Nice. So one thing that's interesting is, again, going back to you, like you're spreading out. Like
Yeah.
you're not just in it for the glory or promoting your business.
Not even.
You've given the names of like
Yeah.
15 businesses today.
Yeah.
So now there's something going on in Tower.
Yep.
Talk about your Tower location because it's taking over another popular place.
Yeah. So most people know it as Audis Olympic from like our generation. Before that, it was Club Fred, and
Oh, yeah,
before
yeah,
that, it was the Ollie or the Olympic. So we sat down, me, Arthur, and our whole team, just kind of talked about names, and like we kind of just took a spin on what we normally do with our beers, which is like Full Circle Presents, and we decided to give homage to the original, like I guess it was a tavern back then, so it was the Olympic. So we call it Full Circle Olympic now.
Interesting.
And
You're renovating. So if I went to that place last year or a few years ago and I go now under your ownership or your management, completely different renovation?
Oh, yeah. Completely 360. The remarks that I get all the time are that it's real bright and it's real airy. Some people say it's stale because we just opened on New Year's Eve, and we had a mural commissioned by a local guy. He did the original mural inside of Audis Olympic, which was like a Medusa esque mural on that wall, and we had him come in and redo kind of like our skull guy, which is named Ernie. He's just our mascot. It's kind of total coincidence. That's the same as my name. But,
Yeah, it's your name.
But so they came up with him. I guess he was like one of the first guys to open a brewery in Fresno or bring a brewery to Fresno. Anyway, so Josh did this amazing mural. It's so abstract and so many things are going on there. Like every time I look at it, I find something new. So it's kind of cool. I encourage you guys all to come out and check it out in Tower. We're Old Audis Olympic, 1426 Van Ness.
So is it the same kind of thing? Could they bring food in and
Yeah, same
from
type.
outside and then just have a couple of beers?
We're dog friendly, kid friendly and just a family destination. That's what I always try to tell people and express to like some of the older guys that are used to the the dark and old times, I guess.
It sounds like you're growing, you're expanding.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this question. Say I'm sitting at home and we're going to watch a football game or some sort of sports,
Mm-hmm.
and someone says, go get some beer. I could easily go to the national chain,
Yeah.
or I can come to the local breweries like
Yep.
Full Circle and some of the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Sell me, why should I come to you? Or why should I come to other local breweries?
It's always, I always go back to, support local things, support the arts, the scene, the craft, the food. It all just encompasses that community thing. Everybody can go buy a Budweiser, but when you actually take the time to drive down to the brewery and, whichever brewery, not just mine, and meet the people, you get sucked in kind of thing where it's like you experience, the bartenders, the vibe that we had set for them, where you're like, all right, I'm just going to get a 4-pack of your cheapest beer. And then they're like, well, why do you want the cheapest one? Why don't you let's sit you down and have like a little flight of everything that we have so you can get something that you're going to enjoy. And then once people taste craft beer, I think they just kind of fall in love, and then it opens up this wormhole to where you want to go to every brewery everywhere you can. One of my bartenders in Tower just went to Disneyland, and he was like trying to plan out to try to sneak away and go to different breweries in the LA area. I was like, dude, that's like you're crazy. I was like, I can never do that. I'm going to Disneyland. It's just to go to Disneyland.
So what is it, do you think, that lately, it might be me, and I might be wrong in this, but it seems like lately we are getting a lot more breweries popping up. It's like the cool thing now. Like, I was talking to a coworker the other day, and he said, I'm going to stop by the brewery real fast, hang out a little bit, meet a friend, and then I'm going to go home. And he's not going to be there forever,
Yeah.
but he'll go there for about an hour. But back when it was like, I'm going to go to the coffee shop and hang out or something.
Or the coffee shop.
Yeah, what is it about, what do you think it is that's making breweries popular these days?
I think it's just like I said, the love that Fresno puts into the beer that they're putting out is different than anywhere else. Like, I can tell you right now, you go anywhere downtown to one of the breweries, the experience you're going to get there is totally different than the experience you would get in like San Francisco or LA. Here, it's more of a family environment. Like, you're going to see people that around, and like the beer tenders are actually going to like notice and remember your name and remember the style of beer you had last time. And say, hey, you want this? Or, I go some places and they already have my drink ready on the bar for me when I walk in.
Like, hey, this is for you.
Yep.
I saw you walk in. This is for you.
Yep.
I went to a Tioga Sequoia, and they were having a party. There were food trucks, there were vendors and stuff like that. Full Circle, do you do stuff like that as well?
We do. We don't have as large of a space for like to have multiple food trucks and stuff like that. We only have the frontage area to have our food trucks.
Yeah.
But we kind of offer the same stuff. We do a lot of outdoor concerts too. So we've done POD, we've done I'm having a blank. Alien Ant Farm, all the way up to like Bone Thugs and Harmony and E40 these last couple of years.
Wow, you've gotten out there. How are you defining success? So you're a manager. You're the manager of both locations now.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
How are you defining success? Is it just the number of beers you sell, or is it just, hey, you know what? We may not have had a great Friday night, but the place was packed all night.
Not necessarily. I'm not a numbers guy. I'm more about the experience. I'm out there. I have I set a standard for my beer tenders, and I expect it to be followed. And I'm just out there trying to meet people and making sure everybody's having a good time. If the bartenders are some at the bar, I'll go back there and help them. But my goal is to be at the door, meeting everybody, and making sure all their wants were met. And if not, what can we do differently to make it better?
So, the location in the Tower District. Talk about music. So, what genre should I expect? I say, you know what? I'm hanging out. It's a Friday. I've got babysitters for the kids. I tell my wife, let's go. What should I expect? Or is it going to be different each time?
We try to diversify our music very, very extensively. So, we'll have singer-songwriter night, which is like our open mics are on Tuesday. And then like this week, tonight, we have a band playing that's a heavy metal band. Tomorrow, we have a bluegrass band, like a bluegrassy folk. Sunday, we have at our downtown location, a hip-hop group coming through. So it just depends on the time of the day. Like I always tell people, the best thing is to follow either our website or our Facebook pages just to be in the know of what we're doing.
Are there times? One time I heard about an event where people were like brewery hopping, I want to say, or going from brewery to brewery. I don't know if that's the proper word, but do you have those kind of events where you encourage people to go from one brewery to the other?
I always encourage people to visit our neighbors. Whether it be like in Tower, we have Spokeezy and Goldstein's that are both beer bars. I was like, hey, go give them a shout out. If you don't like anything that we have, they'll have something you will, or vice versa. I know they do the same for us. Downtown, I've had like an idea and a goal. There's this thing that we have out there called the Fresno L Trail, and it's still like in the developing stages. But like eventually that's what's going to be like a brewery hop type thing where you get incentives to go to every other brewery that's opened, and like you get like stickers or like swag.
Around here, around downtown, how many breweries are we talking about? Because Tioga, and then is it Zapp's, the other one?
So there's Tioga Sequoia, there's Zach's Brewing,
Zach's.
There's 411 Spirits and Ales. There's two more that are opening up, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say names about those. But
we don't want to get you in trouble.
We have a House of Pendragon on Van Ness, right across the street from the Spiral Garage.
See what I'm saying? Like 5 years ago,
there was nothing.
There was nothing,
yep.
And it just seems like it's popping up. So audience members who have never come to downtown to a brewery, why should they come? Why do you encourage them to come?
I mean, just experience what Fresno has to offer, honestly. Like, North Fresno's nice and everything, but the time and experience you'll have in downtown will hopefully change your views of it. And, bums are everywhere. They're not going to go away.
And I want you to emphasize that because, again, I pass by in the middle of the night going from event to event, and I see them. They're on G Street. There's a misconception there that they're bothering your patrons.
Negative, they don't. Like, I mean, like I said, I have a really good doorman and a security staff that get them to keep them shuffling on. It's like, hey, you can't hang out here. You can't patronize our patrons.
Yeah.
And they know, they get it. They're just down on their luck trying to get back to square one, and we understand that. I think it's just a humanity kind of thing where people just see them and it's like, oh, I don't want to go there because they're there. It's like, no, it's like.
But it's so contrary because you would think people see them and they stay away from Full Circle or the other breweries. But it's contrary because I've seen your place packed.
Yeah.
I've seen Tioga Sequoia packed. Zach's I haven't been to, but I'm going to check out because it just opened up not too long ago.
Yeah, he opened up, I want to say December 15th was his first day of opening. And then he's kind of been open Wednesday through Sunday too, just like the other ones.
So, at your locations, we encourage designated drivers or someone to Uber, Lyft, or taxi out of there. But say someone is in there and they're not drinking at all. Do you have stuff for them too, or should they expect nothing?
No, we do. We offer water, Gatorade, soda, energy drinks. Soon to be rolling out again, I think we're going to bring back our craft root beer and kind of different styles of sodas.
Talking about breweries in general, and maybe you can talk about yours or you can talk about breweries in general here. So I shouldn't be surprised if I go to one of the stores and find your beer on the shelf, right? I mean, are you doing that?
Yeah, we're actually, I believe, in several local liquor stores, and then we're also in like a national chain with like a Total Wine and Bevmo.
So we can actually go and find beer made in Fresno.
Oh yeah, and that goes for all the breweries, I believe. I think Tioga's, they have like a deal with like Save Mart. I don't know if Zach's canning yet, but I know that he has intentions to go.
Yeah, it's probably coming.
He's intentions to go into stores. I know House of Pendragon's in stores.
So is it the uniqueness taste then that you all offer compared to some of the other beers?
Yeah, I think our brands and our styles you'll find similarities between them all, but you'll also find that everybody has a different way of doing the brewing process or whatever. So those little things that they do differently bring out the taste in the beer.
Let's talk about misconceptions. Some people think, oh, that's a brewery. People just go there and get drunk.
Yeah. Not at all.
That kind of thing. So dispel the misconceptions.
I mean, like, we have horror movie nights with our Savage Cinema guys. We do comedy with Julian Aguilar and Ken Lewis, a bunch of different comics. I love our open mic nights. I love seeing, the younger, like, and the thing with the open mics is we offer something that a lot of places don't, where, you don't have to be 21 to come into our place. You have to be 21 to drink, but you can come in, lay out
That's-
your love and you're showcasing your music kind of thing, and get the critique from the actual people that are there and doing the same thing you are.
I'm glad you went there because I was going to ask you that, and we're running out of time. So
Okay.
obviously, I'm not going to bring my kids to the brewery, but
I mean, you can. We have games, coloring pages. We have the
do
the
people do
Gators.
that?
Yeah.
Like, do they bring kids?
I love seeing that. Like our New Year's Eve party in Tower, we got a little flack because we couldn't do beer after 11. So at midnight, me and Arthur had an idea to do a sparkling apple cider toast instead of having beer out. So we laid out all the cups on the bar and poured them all out, and it was a good time. And it was cool seeing families there with their children. I'm talking like maybe 5 and 6 year olds just dancing to the music. We had 2 local bands play. We had Boom Boom Brady and Boha, 2 great and amazing bands live.
Finally, we're running out of time this week on the program. Finally, the local breweries, not just Full Circle, but some of the other ones. Mm-hmm. They're local, right? If I go and spend my money there,
it's going to go right back into everything. Yep.
So tell us a little bit about how people can find out about you and some of the other breweries and what's going on in the brewery community.
I would say the best way to do it is there's 2 local apps that a lot of people use, Untapped and Tap Hunter. You can download those both for Android and iPhones. Also, all the different social medias for each brewery or page. Like I know Tioga has the Beer Garden page and their company page. Same as us, we have our downtown page, and then we also have the Olympic page. I know Zach's on social media. I know House of Pendragon's on social media too.
Ernie, thank you so much for coming and educating us about breweries and beer and all that other stuff.
Look forward to seeing you come down and see us all. Thank you.
Good luck to you. Good luck to you. That's all for this edition of the Central Valley Ledger. Our guest was Ernie with Full Circle Brewery, talking about beer and breweries and local breweries and all that good stuff. Thank you to our volunteer crew that made this production and every production possible. Paul Starcevic was the director for today's program. Thank you to those listening to this broadcast on KFSR 90.7 FM and to those watching on the CMAC channels, Comcast 93 and AT&T 99. We hope you enjoyed the program this week. We're broadcasting from the Community Media Access Collaborative, Fresno and Clovis. Tune in next week to a new edition.
KFSR and CMAC present the Central Valley Ledger every Sunday morning at 11:30. For a complete program schedule, visit kfsr.org.